you can see to create that very powerful look throughout the whole edit, we're gonna have it shaking all the time. And that is the basic principle of these type of TikTok edits. You're gonna have to create that aura, if you feel me. You see, it is very powerful. Besides just shaking alone, there's also occasional big shakes like this one, created with adjustment layer and directional blur, and also another shake layer. So I'm gonna introduce the base shake, like the constant slight shake first. So we can click into this camera and then press U and wait, actually press R. You can see in the orientation, we got a expression, which is why it is red. Now, when we double press 2 times your E key on your keyboard, it's gonna open up the expression. So what does it do? I put in this wiggle expression inside the orientation. Without it, it is just gonna be very static. Now, it's still got some motion to it, like it is still shaking, but that is because of the adjustment layer above that I put in the directional blur. But it lacks the type of bass shake to make it alive, like it is very angry, because of the music. It is very powerful. So why did I use it on orientation instead of XY Z rotation? That is because X, Y, and Z rotation is individually they're all individual. They exist in their individual plane, so that when I apply to one of them, it's just gonna shake upwards or sideways or like front and back, which is not what I want. I wanted to shake around the whole angle, like it is. Like, okay, I'm just gonna raise an example right here. Y rotation, wiggle, 10, 0.3. Now, it is gonna shake in the Y direction. It still looks great, but not best. I want it to be even out on 3 axis. So we're gonna click Alt and click this button, this clock icon, and then we're gonna type in wiggle. And this is the base expression for something you wanted to like slightly move in a certain way. Like you just wanted to like fluctuate around that certain range with a certain amplitude and frequency. Now I want the frequency to be 10 because I want it to like shake kind of intensely, but I don't want it to shake like very crazy. When I put in 10, it's gonna like the whole thing is gonna go crazy. You can see it right here. If it plays, because my computer is kind of crashing it. Like you can see, the amplitude is very insane. So I put it at 0.3 just now, so that it just kind of shakes. It shows the motion. It shows like constant motion, and that is how I created a shake to make it more powerful. How the whole thing looks more powerful. All right, now we're gonna go to the occasional, very powerful, strong shake within beats. Now, this layer throughout the whole video is our shakes. So you can see a lot of keyframes right here. Now, if we go to effects control, we can see transform and a slider control with an expression at the position here. Now, I'm gonna do the whole thing again. Actually, no, because it's kind of annoying. So we're just gonna duplicate it. And then we're gonna remove all the layers. And we're gonna just hide this because we want to do it with this layer. Now, we can delete transform and slider control and we can do it again. Now, it's not shaking. It's just doing this weird motion blur thing, which is because of the adjustment layer up here. Now, we can put in transform that is our shake layer that controls the shake. No, I mean create the shakes. And then we can enter one slider control, which give us a value from 0 to 100 so that we can control one of the parameters right here. Now, if you want the screen to shake, we're just gonna do wiggle like how we did it right here, but just on the position. Now, alt click it and type in wiggle. Now, I'm saying way too much now. So basically, I got this default value I'm gonna put in, which is 6 and 10, that creates a shake, right? But because we want to control its value, so we're gonna go in here and delete 10. Now just do it like this and leave your like this 呢個斬下嘅嘢啦。I don't know how to say it in English. Yeah. And you see this pick with right here? It's gonna let you select what controls this value. So before it was 10, but now when I pick it up and drag it to the slider here, this slider is gonna control it. Now after that, we can press this stopwatch right here so that we can keyframe it. So when we press U, it's gonna appear a keyframe here, which is controlled by the slider control. Now, at first, I want it to be very shaky, so I'm gonna put in 200. Now, it's gonna shake like crazy, but then, because we just want a very small spike within every beat, so after like 10 frames, I'm just gonna press Control Shift right arrow, and then we're gonna put it to 0, because we would just want a small spike right here. So we can keyframe it and move every keyframe to the front. I don't know why it's not letting me select it. Alright. And then for every beat, like this directional blur, motion blur thingy, we're gonna put another 200 here. And then after that, we're gonna move it back to 0 so that it only spikes a bit. And then we're gonna go in the graph and make both focus on the center, in the center. So now it's just gonna shake like this. And now to the fun part, we can actually do it for every beat. So now this is okay. I'm saying way too much now, but like this is 0. So the next keyframe should be 200. So we're gonna duplicate these two keyframes and put it here like this. Now this is 200, this is 0, so that it only spikes here. The only thing you need to pay attention to is when you go into the graph editor, you need to make sure that both the peak should be focused and centered on the beat. So right now it's not centered on a beat. We're just gonna move it closer to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you want, you can put it like this as well, so that it is truly focused on in the center. But I think that is way too much. We cannot quite see the shake. Now we can see it perfectly. But if you move it too close, it might not be that obvious because it's too quick, and that is the technique. Now I'm just gonna do it for the whole video, the part where you wanted to like do that impact. And so I'm just gonna do this layer and enable this layer. Yeah, it's the same thing. Alright, now we're gonna move on to the next part. I assume you guys know how I do this whole thing. I'll wait. Actually, I gotta introduce the directional blur impact frame to you guys. So if you want to enhance the shake within beats, you're gonna want to add something more than just shake. Now this is nice, but we can do better because we can add in adjustment layer with directional blur to create that fake motion blur, because it's 1 or 2 frames, so you don't have to actually make it perfectly. Nobody is gonna see it, and if nobody sees it, then it's a good effect. Now enable these 2 layers, you're gonna see that very nice directional blur like this. You're just gonna put in directional blur, move it to your favorite direction. To me it's vertically, and then just crank this value up, and then it's gonna become a very cool motion blur. Now I do it on every beat so that it looks like it's really shaking instead of just moving around randomly. Yeah, and that creates a very powerful, like someone hit it really hard and the whole camera shakes, right?